very good evening. My name is Ellen Luka from Tabisan International School Media. We are live today in Westlands at United Green Movement headquarters with Honorable Agostino Neto, the UGM party leader. Get ready for this furnace as it's steamy, hot and flaming. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Honorable Agostino Neto, for inviting and giving us this opportunity to have a one-on-one interview with you. My name is Given Were from Tabisan International School Media. As we kickstart our discussion, can you please enlighten us on who Honorable Agostino Neto is?
Neto Agostino is the son of a poor primary school teacher. I grew up in the village in Homa Bay. Went to high school somewhere around Kikuyu. Went to law school, and after that, of course, I've studied human rights law, international environment law, conflict and development. And I'm a practicing politician. I co-lead the United Government Party. So, karibuni sana to Green Action House, which is the political party headquarters of the United Government Party.
Thank you. People believe that politics is a dirty game. What motivated you to get into politics, and how did you begin your journey? Who's your role model and mentor in politics?
Politics is not a dirty game. There are some dirty politicians, just like the dirty teachers, just like the dirty preachers, just like the dirty accountants. So politics in itself is a noble profession. What determines whether a profession becomes a good or a bad profession is the character of the human being. So you might have, like you have bad preachers, you have bad imams. So politics that is informed by virtue, that is informed by character, is good stuff, because politics is about influencing policy, informing decisions. It's about charting the way forward for the people that you lead. So if at all you are of bad character, even footballers without discipline, you see, they quickly wither away. Runners without discipline, they quickly wither away. So for you to be an outstanding politician, you must have character. My role models in politics, a couple. The first is Winston Churchill. I'm a good student of Winston Churchill. Maybe you do not know, Winston Churchill was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom many years before our parents were born. He led the United Kingdom to a world war, and the only thing that he requested the Queen to do to him was, make me in charge, give me responsibility, and as long as I have responsibility, you can then now question my decisions. But if you give me power without responsibility or without being in charge, then I do not want to take responsibility for mistakes that are not mine. So, Winston was the epitome of what you want to call good leadership, strong character, and he did lead Great Britain into helping subdue the enemy of the Second World War. So that's one of my first great role models. In Africa, Mandela stands out for me because Mandela's struggles were, he did very well, many years in prison, didn't break his character, he got out of prison, and then, still led South Africa into a Barack Obama in the US did very well, trying to make us understand that everything else is possible. Humble background, humble destiny, a broken family, but still coming out there as being very strong. So it's the sort of thing that resilience is made of, and so I think Barack also makes a very good role model. In the Asian continent, Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma did very good work. If you read his works and read the works that he did in terms of fighting British colonial rule, and of course you people are very young, when you read the independence of India, his motivation of non-violence, actually part of the things that inform us at the United Government Party is both the work of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. in terms of the spirit of non-violence, that it's possible to ask for change and make change in a non-violent manner. So those 3 or 4 are like my role models in politics.
Thank you very much. We remember in 2012 you were elected with the ODM ticket first. What went wrong, or how did you find yourself in the UGM, United Green Movement Party?
ODM is full of conmanship, and like I told you that politics is about character, and you'll understand that the leadership of ODM does not walk the talk. They do not match what they say with what they do. And so for us as politicians who believe in virtue, we believe in character, I discovered that ODM was not the party that I belonged. It does not. When I was growing up, they sold for us, just like this current regime sold for us fake promises. ODM did sell to me fake promises as a young boy. They cheated me that they believed in social democracy. I have a human rights background, so I believe in economic and cultural rights. I believe in rights of people to grow. I believe in the right to development. And so I bought that script from the ODM party when I was growing up. When I went into the party, I discovered that they do not mean what they say. So I parted company with the party leader, and so we came and founded the UGM party, which is perhaps a political party that we hope, and we are making it walk the talk, and that's why you're in our offices today, and we are walking the talk of our green ideology. So I hope that we can make UGM that party that Kenyans aspire to.
Okay, thank you. What makes UGM unique from other political parties, and why should people prefer this green politics?
Many things make UGM unique. Number one, we're an equality party. I'll explain to you what that means. We have leadership that is shared. We co-share leadership here. I have a co-leader who is female. We have co-chairpersons. We have co-treasurers. We have everything in UGM is co-shared. So there is not this one party leader who wakes up and makes decisions for the party. All the decisions are shared. So that is number one. The second thing is we're an inclusive party. We're a political party that promises inclusivity. What does that mean? We have a youth league, but members of our youth are also part of the national governing body, which is the National Executive Committee. So we have a Persons with Disability League, but persons with disability are also integrated within the leadership of the UGM party. We have a women league, but we also have women as part of the leadership of the party in terms of the National Executive Committee. So inclusivity for us as UGM is that, it's those things that we believe in and live. We have small tribes, we have minorities. Most political parties, for example, if you look at Wiper, you definitely know where Wiper is. If you talk about ODM, you know who ODM is, which community, like for example, will be in that political party. Or UDA, you must know who was until today. Maybe the demographics of UDA will change. But for us in UGM, we are all inclusive. We are all members of Kenya, and every small tribe, every big tribe in Kenya has a space in UGM. The third thing that makes us unique and why people should really engage with UGM is number one. We believe in green ideology. Now, politics in this country for the longest has been about tribe, has been about persons, has been about personalities. If you ask Uhuru Kenyatta what he believed in as an ideology, maybe you do not know. If you ask the leader of ODM what he believed in as his political ideology, he might say social democracy, but are they social democrats? Look at the counties that ODM is governing. So for us as Greens, we believe in a green ideology. What does that mean? That we believe ecocentrism or the environment should then inform everything else that we do. In espousing our ideology, everything else that we're doing, now we're engaging in a civic conversation about climate change, environment, circular economy, waste management. These are the things that, because that's our ideology. Our ideology is Greens, to be ecocentric, to believe in a green agenda. That's why people should find that UGM, and again, climate change, which is part of the problems that the world is facing, means that climate change is going to be an agenda for the future. As a green political party, we are a party for the future because we are both in charge, or interested in what young people are bothered right now and also about the future.
Thank you very much. You've been an MP of Diwa constituency for 2 terms. What are some of the achievements you can boast of since they're watching us right now? Diwa people know, one, we instituted something called the Scholarship Fund. The Scholarship Fund was a program where young, intelligent people from poor families that performed very well or excelled at school were given scholarships for the 4 years in school. We had all their fees paid, a bit of pocket money, and making sure that we mentored them into what we wanted to be. Out of that particular scholarship program, many of them ended up having professional training in international universities. Some went to Netherlands, some went to Germany, and some ended up being engineers, lawyers, doctors. So I'm really proud about our scholarship program that we instituted when I was a member of parliament, because we appreciated that young people from poor backgrounds, humble backgrounds, were able then to move to the next level, to move to the next frontier. That was number one. But number two was the issue of healthcare.
I mean, as a member of parliament, we ensured that even though health was a devolved function, by the time I left the constituency, there were 12 new dispensaries that were put across 12 functional dispensaries that we built from scratch, instituted in 5 years, and then had them working. We also improved on our infrastructure, the road network, the bridges and stuff. So if you went to Ndiwa, when I was member of parliament, at least the roads were motorable, the infrastructure was improved, and so there was a bit more mobility around the place. The fourth thing, of course, was basic school infrastructure. When I got elected as member of parliament, the school infrastructure was not very good in most of the schools. It was mud walls, grass touch, but we tried to improve in terms of both the physical infrastructure of schools. The fifth thing was bursary programs for students who are both going to school at the secondary school level, but also at university. We tried to make sure that education was affordable by by augmenting the bursary and the bursary program for most people going to university. So it is possible to go on and on, but in a nutshell, those 5 things for me, I think, one of the things. We also had a robust sports event. We had a sports tournament. You might know that Gor Mahia, that is a famous national football team, it has its ancestry in Ndiwa. So once or twice, we ensured that the sports in Ndiwa was always on top. We tried to improve football pitches and the sports. We had various awards to ensure that the sports was improved. So we tried to do a couple of things.
Thank you. Kenyan political parties are best known for politics. Forgetting that education is the backbone of our society, how does UGM party have a manifestation of supporting education and in Kenya? If no, why? If yes, how?
So part of the things we do as UGM is that we engage in constant civic awareness. Political parties are supposed to be espousing their ideology. Like I told you, we're a green political party, so we're espousing our green ideology. So here we are. Today evening, as you can see, we'll be discussing issues on the law in the wake of climate change. We've been running a climate change series for the past 3 or 4, every fortnight. We've been running a series. We are hoping that members of UGM, the United Government Party, and other Kenyans could then be schooled on issues of green politics. That's number one. But number two is the United Government Party has a 5-pillar manifesto: youth and employment, the environment, economy, rule of law, social justice and equality. In terms of youth and employment, we have advocated before that the Kenyan curricula, first of all, should be one that speaks to the market of the Kenyan people. Right now you have very many unemployed young people. They are unemployed because the courses that they trained are not market friendly. They do not have use of their trainings to the market. So as UGM, we are advocating that the curricula of the school needs to respond to the demands of the job market. And so we also ensuring that young people can create employment from environment, for example. So we are urging young people to recycle, to reuse, or to be creative, innovative in terms of restructuring the environment in a way that then helps them get jobs and also get work.
Thank you. Let's go to our next topic. Views on leadership and governance. Dissolve the parliament. This has been a song for quite some time. How do you think the role of MP has changed over the years for people to lose confidence in the parliament? Bearing in mind that parliament is one of the arms of the government.
I mean, the question you ask is a very complex question. In the civic structure, there are 3 pillars of government. There's the executive, there's the judiciary, and then there's the legislature. In a functioning democracy, the 3 are supposed to be independent yet interdependent. They're supposed to check on each other. What we have had the problem in the past few days is the Kenyan members of parliament did not check on the executive. You remember when we had the reject finance bill? They went and passed the finance bill 2024. Now, when the president invited them to State House to say that he was not signing, they still clapped for the president. So you do not know why they were clapping for themselves or who they were clapping for, because If at all it was a good check and a balance system, the members of parliament should have refused to pass the finance bill and told the president the reasons why they were doing. That is what a check and a balance system is. But when you're just being moved around like livestock, this current parliament is being moved around like livestock, they're just being goaded. That's not very good for democracy, because then you then might end up with a dictator for president. Look at what the judiciary has become. The judiciary of the past few months has been very disappointing. So what we have, therefore, which is not a very good thing, is that we have something in technical English called an extractive legislature. We have an extractive parliament, and we have an extractive executive. What that means is that the citizens do not then get the benefits. It is just a few people, the president and a few members of parliament, who now you see they're buying choppers. They don't even have proper things. People who are unschooled are the ones buying choppers. So those who with a good school, those who have gone to school like you, will then not end up finding a good job, because the people who didn't go to school, drug barons, peddlers, are the ones who've stolen state money and using it to live largely. So I think it's not fair. So the reason why people are saying dissolve parliament is because this current parliament is not serving the interests of Mwananchi. They're supposed to be representing us, but they're representing themselves. They're representing themselves, they're stealing from us, they are thieving, and I think they should be dissolved.
Thank you. In your opinion, what makes a good leader in today's political landscape?
Character. I mean, leadership is about character. Just like I started by telling you, the same way you have some preachers who are thieves, who are immoral, the same way you have some accountants who will steal money, or auditors will steal money. What makes the difference between different people is character. So just like a boxer, if you choose a bad leader, there's no way they're going to reform. Don't expect them to reform. The way they've been living in the house, you people are young, but when you grow old and start going into relationships, do not go for a bad man or a bad woman thinking that they're going to change in life. No, what you see is what you get. That is what you live with. So do not think that a leader is going to change somewhere in front. Whatever you see, if it's a bad leader from the word go, that's not going to be a bad leader. So character is what makes leadership better. So characters, values, and principles. That's what I think for me works.
Thank you. Now, as we reflect on Kenyan politics, what is your take on Honorable Raila Odinga vying for AU seat, and do you think he will come back to Kenyan politics? That's
Raila's problem. Whatever becomes of him and AU is his problem. Whether he comes back to Kenyan politics, I think Africa deserves better. But again, I don't have a vote. At least if I was voting in the AU, I will not vote for him. So that's his problem.
Thank you. As a senior politician in Kenya and a lawyer as well, what's the fate of Kenya after the High Court approved Gachagwa's impeachment? Will this bring negative effects in Kenyan economy? Will Honorable Kindiki be any different from Gachagua?
So first of all, personally, Professor Kithure Kindiki is known to me personally. I have a special interest in him. He was my supervisor when I was writing my thesis at law school. So I have a personal relationship with him in terms of having engaged with him both as my friend, as my teacher, and as my lecturer. So I know for a fact that in terms of both person and content, he's better than Gachagua. So let's give him his flowers in terms of. He is a good human rights lawyer. I mean, the only reason why I related with him was because he's a good human rights lawyer. Did he do that when he was Minister for Interior? No, of course he failed terribly. Under his rule, people were abducted, people were killed, and so I think that was a deep contrast in terms of the human rights aspirations that he espouses. So I think there he failed me at a personal level. But the second thing is that he comes from a small community. He's a Tharaka. And the reason why you're not seeing most of Mount Kenya West East is very enthusiastic is because his community is very small. And like I said in this interview this afternoon, it's remote. It's some remote village somewhere. So there's not a lot of excitement in terms of, they don't even know what has hit them, that the son is deputy president. So it'll be good for him in terms of helping move the country forward. And like what the other one was, Gachagua. Like what Gachagua was. But the third thing, I've watched Professor Kindiki take his oath this afternoon. I think it's too much of a yes man. If at all it goes that way, the president needs someone who's going to be giving him a different point of view. But what I've seen with Kindiki from his swearing in, studying Ruto, claiming he studied Ruto for 20 years, and yes man, yes, I think that's not good for the country. I think yes, you need to be firm. You need to be firm with your leader, but you should also be able to criticize him or critique him. That's why a leader always needs a different point of view, which is not their point of view. If you're going to be around the leader to say yes, yes, yes to everything else, go sleep, yes, go wake up, yes, I think it's not very good for Kenya.
Thank you. In your own view, who is the most preferred presidential candidate in Kenya coming 2027?
I don't know. We're yet to see. We're just coming off from Botswana elections, and you know, Botswana is one of Africa's most prolific democracies. And Botswana, for the first time, has elected a one-term president in the history of the country. So that's number one. Number two, it's for the first time in the history of Botswana that the ruling party has lost the election. So that means everything is possible. As it stands right now, no one is sure who's going to be president in 2027. Things are still very, very low. We have 3 years to go. And like you've seen now with Gachagwa's impeachment, one day in politics is a lot of time. We have 1,085 days to the next election. Many things will happen. So I do not know.
Thank you. There is a speculation that a motion will be taken to Parliament for extension of presidential terms in the office from 5 years to 7 years. Will this violate the Constitution if it's within the law?
No. So there's no constitutional violation if the Constitution is properly amended. Okay. The Constitution provides for itself how to amend it in Article 256 and Article 257. There are two things. There is what is called a parliamentary process to amend the Constitution, and there's also a process called a popular initiative to amend the Constitution. I'll explain to you the difference. Article 255 of the Constitution of Kenya points out to certain articles of the Constitution that you cannot change without the people, without a referendum. So for example, if you're talking about the term of presidency, which is like extending it from 5 years to 7 years, you cannot do that only in Parliament. You have to go to the people. You cannot, for example, change the structure of government. You see, like right now, Raila Odinga and his people and his livestock went to that thing, what is it called, BBI, to say, no, this is the latest one, NADCO. In the NADCO report, they wanted Kenya to have a leader of opposition. Now, what that means is that you will have something called a structure of government that will change. For you to do that, you have to go to the people in a referendum. So, there's nothing wrong in anyone, or even the people proposing, for example, to extend the term of parliament from 5 to 7 years. However, that vote has to be taken to the people in a referendum. If the people decide that they want to extend for 7 years, they will. But if at all they say they don't want to extend, they will not. Now, unfortunately, you've seen that these fellows cannot be trusted with anything. They had their own IEBC in the middle of the night. They had their own religious or political parties in the middle of the night. So we cannot, as Kenyans, give them any chance to try anything. There's nothing that is going to be fair and square. No, from the word go, hit the snake on the head. We cannot allow them to even start thinking that we want to extend the presidential term. We shall not allow them, and the Kenyan people should not give them the chance.
Thank you. There was this movement known as the Gen Z movement that was protesting against bad governance in Kenya. But now it's no longer heard. What is your take on this, or do you think the movement was sponsored? If yes, then who? If no, what went wrong?
There was nothing unique about the Gen Z movement. Maybe the only thing that the Gen Zs had, as opposed to previous years, was the use of technology. If you see, long before you were born, there was something called the clamor for multi-party democracy. I'll explain to you what that means. In 1990 and in 1992, Kenya was a single-party state. It simply meant that there was someone called Moi. This person called Moi was a president. He was leading a political party called KANU. And KANU was a dictatorial party. Now, what used to happen was that you could not even go to the market. In fact, you could not even come here without a KANU ticket. You needed to have something called a KANU. So you had to have a KANU card, even to board a matatu. So you could not board today to come here without this KANU thing. So now, you could not go to the market to buy goat or anything. You have to have this thing called KANU. So what happened in 1990, young people, Orengo then, there was Orengo, there was Gitobo Manyara, they were also in their 30s, they were also in their 20s. That's why Gen Z is not peculiar. it was done before. Orengo in 92 was about 28 years old. Actually, when Orengo was elected first as a member of parliament, it was 28 years old. So what was the difference with the Gen Z movement? The Gen Z movement was only different because, one, it was young people, but they were organizing themselves online. That is what was the difference. That, they had TikTok, they had WhatsApp, which we did not have. In the olden days when we were growing up, you had to go wait for a phone call in a booth. There were some red things called booths. So, you had to put a coin, wait there to be called. So it was difficult then to organize. Right now, the Gen Zs had the power of organizing on phone. You're staying at home, you're conversing. So that was one advantage. Where did they get it wrong? The Gen Zs got it wrong because they thought they had already arrived. They thought they were doing something that was very unique, something that was never done before. They were wrong. What they should have done is they should have learned from previous people. They should have learned from Orengo and the team. How did you organize against Moi? How did you organize against Kibaki, for example? How did Kenyans fight for the new constitution? Because what they're engaging in was politics. The only thing is that their tools of organizing, which is IT and ICT, was more superior than what we had. The second mistake they made was that this is a political fight. Political fights need leadership. Political fights need you to be organized. Political fights need you to have strategy. They thought it was a walk in the park. They thought it was about taking selfies and eating Kentucky Fried Chicken. No, it is not. This is political fight. It is a war. It's a soft war. So they lowered their guard. You see, you get killed. Some of them were killed. There are 61 of them were killed. It's not romance. It's not buying people flowers. This is war. So you cannot go to war and pose for selfies, feel nice, and have a good effect. No, you have to prepare for war and have a long-term strategy which is warlike. So that is why the Gen Zs failed. Did it fail? No. This current government is making mistakes that is going to make a Gen Z uprising even more profound. What the Gen Zs need to do is just get more organized, to get politically organized, to get the strategy together, and I think they will then deliver Kenya to what they want.
Thank you. As we conclude, Mheshimiwa, do you expect you in the ballot again? If yes, at which post? If no, what do you aspire to be?
I only want to be a member of parliament. So yes, I will be running for a member of parliament in 2027, or when the elections are called. If they dissolve parliament tomorrow, I'll be in the ballot as member of parliament for Ndiwa. I have no ambitions for my children, not even for my grandchildren. I just want to be a member of parliament, and I want to be happy there to do the things. I like making law, so I want to go back to the House of Parliament and make law that will be good for Kenya and good for you young people, so that you can move and make prosper. So that when we hand over the country to you, it will be a good country.
Thank you. What is your advice to any aspiring young politician in Kenya?
It is possible. It is possible. Politics is a high-stakes game. Everyone can be anything in this country. Everyone can be anything. Nothing stops you from pursuing your dreams. Nothing stops you from chasing anything you want. Sleep, dream, wake up, chase your dream. Everything is possible. Nothing should ever bring you down. And when you get into power, when you get into office, do the best for country. Do the best for country. You only pass this way once. Let there be something that you'll be remembered for. That as a member of parliament, I've just counted for you 5 or 6 things that I think I did, which in my view were good things. Give us something that you can be remembered for, both locally and nationally.
Finally, being a member of parliament, we expect you in a suit, but you are dressed simple. Why this?
Because I love my sandals. I think one of the things that most people, most leaders take their ego with them to the job. Now that's a very dangerous thing. You see, leadership is fluid. Leadership comes and goes. You see, Gachagua and his wife were used to 5 cars, security. Now they don't know where they're going to sleep tonight. You see, leadership is that fluid. It's that bad that it changes like this. So one of the things you must always do is you must always remember to cut your clothes according to your size. You must always remember that it is possible for you to wake up in the morning as deputy president and in the evening as a common citizen. You remember some of these cabinet secretaries were now in depression because they were used to power. They were used to things that are not theirs. They were used to people opening for them doors even for cars they do not own or have. They're used to business class tickets. You must always remember you're a human being, and as a human being, power goes. Never ever put your ego next to the job. So I only do the things that I can afford. I can afford sandals at 200 shillings. I don't even have to have a problem. For 25 years, I've been putting on sandals for 200 shillings. So I don't even care whether there's a new fashion in town or not, because I know I have 200 shillings every day. So this is what you must always do. You must always make sure that you keep your head normal, so that when power goes, you're still fine. You wake up, take a matatu. I mean, I walk to the city all the time. You know, I rarely take a taxi if I don't have a car. But you see, if you do not live like that, when power goes, now you'll be hiding. You'll be hiding in your house. Your depressed wife, your wife will be making noise. Your husband will be making more noise. It's always good to just live normally, and so that if power goes, you're fine, and then you can then live. And that's what humility is about.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable, for inviting us. We wish you all the best in your political endeavors. We wish to see you again. I have been your very own Ella Nduka and
Given Were. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me at the studio. I hope you've learned something. God bless you. Thanks for visiting us. God bless you and enjoy the rest of the day here. Thanks. Bye. Savand Mepe. Thanks. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you so much.